Hey everyone, welcome to Advantage Point, the series where we unpack how smarter systems and sharper thinking create strategic advantage. This season, we're probing AI and SaaS, what's hype and what's real. Did you know that Bain found that companies already scaling AI grow revenue 6 times faster than their peers? Yet McKinsey reports that more than 80% of firms still aren't seeing AI boost their bottom line. The gap between the promise and the payoff is our advantage point today. The goal for this episode will surface AI move that actually moved the revenue in 2025 and spotlight the blind spots where even world-class teams still stumble. Those very spots that smart automation can hand them quick wins. Now, joining me is Rebecca Dutcher, founder and CEO of Red 66 Marketing, the web-first B2B agency that lifted the industrial brand Gallagher's uniform traffic by 81% after an AI-assisted SEO overhaul. She's also the voice behind the viral post, AI is not enough. There's a James Bond title in there somewhere. A wake-up call on humans, a wake-up call for keeping humans in the loop. And I wouldn't go into how she came up with the name of a company. I'll let her give us those details. But anyway, please welcome with me Rebecca to the Advantage Point. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Really great to have you on. So, I suppose for me personally, I mean, I know when I read the details and I thought that was really cool. But before we get into the serious stuff, or the meat and potatoes, as we call it here in the UK, how
Mhm.
on earth did you come up with the name of your business?
That's a fun story. And every brand should have their story, right? Red 66 Marketing is the name of my agency. Red, obviously, red hair. It's one of my favorite colors because it's big and bold.
Yeah.
66 was the number when I was the first girl to play football in an all boys league when I was 8 years
Wow.
old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's start there for a minute. What made you want to play football be the only girl, basically? What kind of drove you to do that?
I have a brother that's a year younger. And when we were younger, everyone thought we were twin boys anyway. So I was a bit of a tomboy. We got
Right.
our first dirt bikes when we were 4 and 5 years old.
Right.
But so my brother was playing football in third grade, and my dad got me into the cheerleading, like the pom pom stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. It was not my thing. My brother unfortunately broke his arm. I may or may not have pushed him off the swing set. So he couldn't practice or play with his team. So I would suit up and practice with his team instead of going to cheerleading practice because that was more fun.
Wow. Wow. That's a really cool story. And I'm sure we'll have little segues into getting more insight about what you do. But first of all, let's go back to the serious stuff. So bear with me. I've got a list of questions prepared. And like I say, I always like to keep these private or not tell what the invitee, is that the right word? Because I like it to be conversational. So she has no idea what I'm going to ask, but I'm sure she's going to smash it out of the park. So very first question. Google's new AI overviews can swallow organic real estate. What SEO moves keep your B2B clients visible?
Good question. Yes, AI overviews swallow a lot, but
Yeah.
AI overviews also find their information because of the SEO work that people have done and being fed to the LLMs. So there's still a chance to show up there. What we have seen and how we've adapted our SEO work for clients is there's a lot of informational searches that AI overviews take, like the questions, how do I, what is the best, those types of things. However, if you look at keyword phrases that are more commercially intensive, where they're actually looking for the product, service, or solution, the AI overviews aren't as strong there and they have more
Right.
citations.
Right.
Also, a lot of our clients are regional in that they'll cover maybe 100 square miles within their location. So the local SEO is also important. So their Google business profiles and their overall just digital footprint and local citations play a role as much as the site content.
Okay. You've obviously said very expert stuff, but could you re-say that, but say in kind of simple terms, so those of us who are not as SEO or marketing literate as you could kind of keep up with what you've just said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in a B2B space, when you want to come up for searches, right? You want to be found online. It's making sure you come up for when the customer is ready to make the purchase, or they're narrowing their purchase decisions.
Yes.
So it's not just answering questions. An example, uniform programs. How much does the uniform program cost? That's a very informational search, and AI overviews will have the answer. You won't necessarily find a site. But if you put local uniform rental company, in that geography or that does this industry,
Right.
you're
Right.
more likely to find a website as a response because of that, the SEO.
Right. Got you.
And then
Okay.
if you add near me or in city, you will see their Google business profile because AI doesn't take those out.
Right. Wow. Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Right. Okay. Next question. You wrote, and I don't know where you got the inspiration for the title for it from, but every time I read it, I just think of James Bond. But you wrote, in AI is not enough. Um, well, you wrote AI is not enough. What final human tweak do you never skip before you publish?
Read it. It's not enough. It's you know, while you can feed things into your custom chats, or we use Claude in the project so it picks up on your voice, it'll get you so far, but you really need to make sure you sound like that. You're using your own words. And sometimes AI can add a lot of fluff or a lot of adjectives
Yes.
that people don't want to read. I also heard that AI adds M dashes, but I love an M dash. So if you see
Really?
it in my
Okay.
content, that's not AI, that's me.
Ah, okay. Well, full disclaimer there, guys.
Right.
Listen to that.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
also fact checking. So if it pulls in a source or a stat, you
Yeah.
make sure and find out where it got that stat and verify it.
Okay. So, quick question then, just to stay on that point. I mean, the whole point of implementing AI is to make things go a lot faster and a lot smoother, to remove one away from the operational drag, as it were. So, I mean, given this is kind of your specialty, do you think there's any way around obviously having to go? It's almost like doing the same job twice, right? So, do you think there's any way that one can circumvent that or speed up that sort of checking process after AI has done its job, in your opinion?
Absolutely. As you build those custom chat GPTs and you have it writing content and refining it, it will learn. That's what they're supposed to do, those language
Yes.
learning models. So it gets better. The first ones will be clunky, but as it learns the edits that you make, the refinements, it will start to speak more like you. So it isn't any new tool is an investment in time and testing and figuring it out. From a content perspective, that's the same. But you think about the creativity and efficiency and things that AI can make happen so much faster. If you sit down, I have to sit down and write a blog about this. I have no idea where to start. So that it can help you with thought starters. It can help you with creative headlines, and it just makes you more efficient. So if a blog used to take an hour to write, now it might take 5 minutes to generate from AI and
Yes.
20 minutes to edit. You're still more efficient than you were if you were writing it on your own and doing all the research.
Sure. Makes perfect sense. Okay, now for Gallagher Uniform, where did AI analytics first shave serious dollars off lead gen for you, if lead gen was involved at all?
Yeah, Gallagher is all lead gen, the work
Mm,
that we do there. But the lead gen for their website is, again, a lot of content, understanding their buyers and
yes.
answering and addressing their pains. So we can get people to the site, making sure we address those key pains in that industry and keeping the site updated. It changes. These are uniforms, but they're in many different verticals or markets, from pharmaceutical production, food processing,
Yeah.
automotive dealerships and technicians. So there's some compliance changes. There's additional certifications that happen, believe it or not, in the uniform industry, especially when it comes to pharmaceutical and food production.
Okay.
So it's building in those updates and credibility in the content. I mean, anyone can get traffic to a website, but getting them to convert is where the real work begins. So we've adapted calls to action, we can create more content faster using AI,
Yes.
and help dig deeper. That we've built out a lot more content on existing pages, so it has more topic authority
Right.
and it addresses all the questions on one page.
Awesome. And actually, maybe for those that don't know, do you just want to give us a bit of a background around that whole project, basically?
Well, I mean, Gallagher's been a client of mine for 12 years now.
Yeah.
Um, so we do a lot of things. I mean, from the website as the hub for a lot of the lead gen activity, but they also have sales reps in the field. So our the website development is meant to, yes, generate leads, but also answer questions as soon as people hear about Gallagher and their differences. It's also there to support the salespeople who are making those cold calls, knocking on doors. So it's their air cover as well. That's a big part of what we've done for Gallagher, but we've also done their catalog. We do a lot of their email marketing to prospects and customers. We have designed all of their truck wraps. So when they used to have trucks with just their logo on it, driving hundreds of miles a day with all these routes, now we have different headlines and images of products so that their brand stands out and is more memorable.
Sure, sure, sure. And speaking of which, while we're talking about some of your accomplishments, what would you feel like is your biggest accomplishment to date in terms of clients won or just generally with your business?
To date, the two biggest things are I have never had a better team that I've worked with ever. So we've developed and hold dear our culture and make sure that we hire people that are a really good fit. I'm very lucky to have such a great team. But also on the client side, we have really great clients. We get to work with people we enjoy. They're open and honest and communicate with us, and we work through things together. Those are my two favorite things. It's the relationships are what the are most important to me.
Sure. And again, I remember pre-podcast when we were having the chat, you kept mentioning time and time again your teams. How did you go about building? I mean, it's clear that you're very appreciative of them and they're very good at what they do, hence why you're in the spotlight so often. How do you go about building a team that sort of gets you and supports you? I know we're kind of segueing a little bit, but I think that's something quite important to touch on, especially for some of the audience who may just be starting out, on their own and looking to grow the team. So what are the key things you look out for when building a really amazing and supportive team like you've just mentioned?
The biggest thing I learned over the last few years is if you're talking to someone about joining your team,
Yes.
if it's not a hell yes, they're a good hire, then it's a no. If you're not sure, like I kind of like this person, they could probably do it. If you're not sure, then it's probably not good for you nor that person. And I can say that because I've made that mistake a few times.
Sure.
Um, and it was unfortunate, but it was a good lesson learned. So we look for fit. Do they have, the skill set? Yes, the soft skills. What do they do when they're not working? What kind of
Okay.
things do they like to do to make sure that, they're a good fit with our culture? And I'm not sure if you're familiar with EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system. There's so many different operating systems for businesses.
Sure.
Um, we ran on that, and now we work with a system and soul coach where we look at people and are they a good cultural fit for our core values, and then
Right.
the outcomes. We have them interview with several people on the team to make sure we get a
Okay.
good vibe of that person. But we also look for their fit in, is it a good time for us as a company to hire them, and is it a good time even in their life, right, for the role,
Sure.
and making sure that they can work in their unique genius. Because if
Yeah.
we hire a great person who might be a great account person, but they don't really get marketing per se, they've got
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're a great fit for the team, but they couldn't do the work that we need to elevate the team.
Okay. So effectively you're looking for people who already understand sort of the space that you're in, is that what you, well, I suppose it makes sense for them to do so, but what about space for sort of growing into a role? Essentially, what are your thoughts on that? Because, maybe someone I may have come from like banking and finance, but I've got the intellectual skills, but not necessarily the subject area skills. Would that make me not a good hire for you? if I applied.
Right, not necessarily because we look for I mean, a lot of people can learn SEO and the tools and skills that we
Yeah.
use. In fact, I have 3 people on our team that started as interns, and they're
Oh,
now
okay.
in year 2, year 3, so they had, some idea of what they wanted to do. They continued to learn on the job, but they had that just that intuition and that drive that sometimes looking for those people who are like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. So we look for that in who they are as a person, not just do they know the skills, could they walk in and do the job? Because I don't know that there's anyone that could walk in and do the job exactly the way we do it.
Sure.
But it's do they have that fire, right? Do they have that fire? Do they value the relationships? Are they going to be a good fit with our clients as well? So skills, a lot of that can be taught.
Yeah.
It's the soft skills and the person, their personality is what will drive whether they're successful or not.
Sure. And remind us, how long have you been running for, Rebecca?
Uh, 8, almost 9 years. So it'll be
Almost
9
9 years.
years in just a couple months this fall.
Ah, awesome, awesome stuff. So, like you already started to allude to that in some of the stuff that you've been saying. But what would you say? Because I always like to get the people I invite to tell stories because I think that's what people like to hear. And obviously, you're in marketing, so you even know better than myself the power of stories. So, in your 9 years, soon to be 10 years of existence, what is particularly one story? Do you think that it's interesting that anyone that's watching could learn from your experience?
And I have lots of stories. Lots of stories. Do you want a client marketing success story? Do you want a person
I'll
employee
I'll let
story?
I'll let you pick. I'll just pick one and let's go for it.
Let's start, some fun client stories. We've worked with one for a couple of years there in Wisconsin. It's a family owned company, so there's a brother and a sister. We work with the sister who's in charge of the sales and things for the company. And the brother is more on the operations side.
Okay.
So when we're providing reports and things that we're doing, she's getting tons of questions from her brother. So we need to make her feel bulletproof and that the marketing is a good investment. It is working. So we've developed a custom scorecard that we've now rolled out to other clients so that she has one sheet she can share with him at any time and he can review it monthly to look at the traffic, to look at the leads that have come in through the website and then the lead scoring. So it's put her in a position, of expertise to empower
Sure.
her so much that they were doing an ad in a trade publication in an email. And we said, we really want to turn this into a campaign and make a bigger deal out of it because it's a vertical where they have lots of room to grow. So we developed not only the ad, a landing page, we're A/B testing landing pages, and then other assets for their sales reps once those people convert and have information.
Yeah.
We tested it. We had branding and good headlines and things like that in the ad. It did okay. I think it had 16 click throughs. We changed it to people in the position and addressed pain points. So it was more about them and not just who the company was. It had 91 click throughs the first time it was sent. So it was a huge impact and good lessons to learn so much that we continue to refine the display ads, the retargeting ads that go with that campaign, some of the materials and images on the landing pages too. So that's a story of we had to really build trust so that she felt that true partnership, like we would back her up no matter what with the family and the numbers, but that she also trusted us enough to let us test and do this campaign and
Mm,
continue to refine it so they see the impact. And that's a lot of trust on the relationship side. We like to get to that point with clients. You hear a lot, well, I don't know, you're the experts. So it's a lot of if we're the experts, just let us test it because that's a lot of what marketing is. We put out there what we understand to be true about buyers and their pains, but we can continue to test and improve it for the best return.
And one thing that you said I thought was really cool that you went so far as to develop a scorecard for her. Now, again, not to just copy what you just said, but you're the expert, but I would imagine that's probably going out of your remit or going above and beyond. It sounds like that to me, in terms of doing that for your clients. So what kind of, I mean, other than the fact that I assume you're a nice person, you come across as a nice person to me, but what kind of gave you that idea, or what made you sort of implement that, though you didn't have to, because your job is kind of separate from that, in my
Yeah.
opinion?
Well, we give monthly reports. When we're in ongoing marketing relationships, we look at, the Google Analytics, we look at conversions, we look at their social metrics, we look at emails. So we give them reports every month. And that's a lot of data and charts to look at. Like, that's
Yeah,
nice. So, we're doing things that you're paying us for.
sure.
But if you're the CEO of a company and you're investing in us, you know, it's funny because I met with another client this past week and he's like, I don't care about all that stuff that you're doing. I just want to see the leads. I just want to see the outcomes. So instead of having them, I mean, we'll still send the report whether they look at it or not. We really hope they do, but we've added the insights in this front.
Mm,
Here's what matters and what you need to know.
of
We're
course.
sending the leads on the website all at once because when they come in one or two at a time, and I'm going to tell you this, a lot of sales reps don't use their CRMs correctly or consistently. So the owner can see the leads and then he can follow up or she can follow up with the salespeople on what happened. But the scorecard, I think of, myself, CEO, I have a team of 10, I have a million things going on. I don't want to read through a whole report that I don't necessarily understand. Tell me what I need to
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
And then that scorecard they can review every month so they can see the change immediately just on one sheet of paper. And so it's really just ease of use, giving them it short, quick, what do I need to know? And then the other stuff's there to back up in their spare time to read through. But if you're CEO running a business, you don't marketing is a tiny fraction of their business. They have maybe an hour a week or less to focus on
Mm,
marketing. So we
yeah.
want to make the most of that out.
Right. No, that sounds really, really cool. So basically just understanding the way, I suppose, understanding the client and customizing what you do to accommodate them in any aspect. But I think from what you're saying, accommodating them to be able to make decisions, to know that obviously what you're doing is working and what needs to be tweaked, without them having to spend like an hour or two, which they don't want to. And I'm not kind of like a figures person myself, but just know what you need to know, and move on, but know that you're doing a good job for them effectively. I think
Yes.
that,
So they
I think that's
know
awesome.
they're getting what they're paying for.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on that topic, and then I'm kind of segueing away from what I said we're going to talk about, but I like this thread. So, I mean, you're a marketing agency, but what would you say differentiates you from the million and one other people that do what you do? What makes Rebecca and her fantastic team different from everyone else? What do you bring to the table, so to speak?
What we bring to the table is, like I said, relationships matter.
Of course.
We bring a single point of contact. So we have account managers that work with a set group of accounts so that the client they know they have to call one person, whether I need a website update, I need help with a sales piece, I need this print ad all of a sudden for something they decided to do locally, or they have a wild idea from the field. So they call one person. And it makes it easier because, I don't have to call a designer for this. I don't have to go to web support for this. So we want to make their jobs easy. A lot of the things we've heard from clients at a conference we were at this spring is one, very easy to work with. We're always looking out for them and thinking about what's next. We're never sitting around waiting to ask them, what should we do for you now? And we stay up with industry trends, whether it's AI, it's CRMs, it's, advertising opportunities, looking at their overall messaging and refining things from year to year, not just sitting and doing the same old thing every month.
Can I just quickly jump in while I've got the thought in my head before I forget? You mentioned something that's really cool. I think you said you are always kind of moving on to the next thing of how to help them. How do you go about doing that? I mean, we know how you do that, but what's the thinking process? How do you come up with those ideas essentially while balancing sort of BAU activities? Because I think that's really important, what you've just said. How do you do that?
Sure. Well, I mean, a lot of these companies that we work with, I mean, they're investing in new technology process and systems. that make them also easier to do business with. We need to communicate that. We've adjusted, we brought in an account strategist so that that's all she does is work on, let's refine, develop, continue to improve the strategy. One client we met with this week has a new solution for business phone systems. It's kind of a game changer for his industry and his space. So while he offers a lot of other things from security cameras and IT, we want to do a campaign around the phone systems. And we'll do that for 2 to 3 months because it's going to take a while, to build momentum to get that page up there. We meet with them on a regular basis, and every quarter we look at what's happening in their business. What type of leads are they getting? What's closing? What's not? And why? So that we can continue to adapt their strategy.
Really good. Really, really good. Um, and what would you say your ideal client is? What would they look like? Your ideal prospect, your ideal client?
Our ideal clients and the ones we work with the most, they're usually privately held, family owned companies, multi generational. So they have really good, strong succession planning,
Yeah,
really good brands. But they're usually executives or owners with little to no marketing in house. They're typically sales driven, but they know marketing is really important to their future to have the uh, best foot forward in a digital footprint, right? That their website is accurate and relevant, that they've got someone always looking out for them because digital and marketing changes so fast. They don't
sure.
want to build a department in house. They just want to have someone that can make it easy for them.
Take care of it. Awesome, awesome. Um, and while we're still on the topic of sorts of clients, do you have any, apart from the one that you just showed, do you have any another prominent client related story that you'd like to share?
I mean, they all have good ones.
Yeah.
um, they all have good stories. There's another one that actually, we talk about clients for life. I have an
Okay.
LED lighting manufacturing client that I've worked with since 2009. They've moved the
Okay.
3 agencies in my career until I went out on my own. They joke that they're going to get our logo tattooed before I do. But you know, we look at they have a lot of sales reps, territory
Yeah.
reps, because they're a manufacturer and supplier, and they work with the
Sure.
trades, so construction, architects, things like that. While their website and it from an SEO standpoint, they're not selling lighting online. Like you're not going to go buy a fixture or a bulb from them as a consumer. They have stuff on Home Depot and Lowe's, but for their site, it's really, again, a sales tool for them, not necessarily lead generation.
Hmm.
So we actually revamped their site strategy. So it has now customer based pricing. So customers can log in and see their own pricing. So it had an integration with their
Okay.
ERP. They can
Okay.
see inventory on hand and what's coming in.
Okay.
Now we met with them last week. Now we're going to add like a custom landing page for each customer when they log in. So a nice brand of hardware stores that has their logo, their featured products or relevant news. And then they actually decided they do want to turn on e-commerce for them because I said, how do customers order now? Well, they call or they send us a PO via email. I said, well, that doesn't seem nice when they can see it right online and see their pricing and see what's on
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
Imagine what would happen if they could just, yeah, I want this, 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 and this and submit it.
Yeah.
So we're turning that on this month because it's there. We just had it shut off. And that will
Right.
be a much better user experience for them. And I
Sure.
think they'll probably get more orders just because they're easier to do business with than others.
Right. And I think what's quite interesting in this story that you've shared, there seems to be a lot of tech involved, but you're a marketing agency. So do you have tech experts within, or do you sort of collaborate with other people that provide this tech that you help to enhance what your clients do? Because I just noticed that in this story you've just told us.
Yes, and yes. Marketing and technology go hand in hand. One of the first things when we're talking with the new client, we want to look at their tech stack. Well,
Right.
website is a big part of it. Is it connected to their CRM? Is it connected to their ERP? Is it connected to an email marketing platform? If they have bill payment, where does that go? Websites can be a bit of an
Um,
iceberg.
Yeah.
For that lighting client, we actually worked with a development partner who built a product database that pulled from their ERP other stuff that they would upload, and then that feeds to the website. So that product database is the point of truth, that they maintain it in one spot because they have future plans to maybe just do a Canada product site. So that's already
Right.
set up now. It makes it easier for them. They used to update things in 3 different places.
Yeah.
So this is more efficient for them, but also better for the site. And we have others. I was working on a HubSpot integration with a client yesterday for their e-commerce site.
Yeah.
Fun logic and syncing there for products and orders. But yeah, we touch a lot of different technology. It's surprising.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, from my limited perspective, when I think of a marketing agency, I just think like videos and campaigns. But what you're talking about is really, lots of technological solutions that I suppose make it easier for leads to convert, like you said previously. So I think that's really, really overlooked. Well, certainly from my perspective, till you've just said now, it's not. It goes above sort of nice letters and fonts and color schemes to actually how do we make the leads that you've worked so hard to get in,
Yeah.
how can we help you make it convert, basically? I think
It
that's really
is.
cool.
Thank you. It is funny. I was talking with another customer today, or actually prospect, that when you think of marketing, they're like, "Well, we're not active in social media," and I'm kind of like, "That's one spot. That's one spot." But if you're B2B, yes, you need to have a good, solid social brand presence, but
Yeah.
your website is where people are going to go to find out about you. And we know in the B2B buying world, most people will make their short list of a new provider before they even reach out to the company. So your website
Mm,
is where they're getting their information.
days, of course.
Um, and then social, he also mentioned he needed to recruit a new sales rep. Well, if you're not active on social and you have no presence, it can be harder to recruit too.
Sure.
But there was one funny, quick story. We
Yeah,
were
go for
starting
it.
with a new client. We kicked off with them late last week, and we pulled in some of their key team members based on their website. And
Yeah.
they said, yeah, one of those people had passed away years ago. And we said, okay, well, then, yeah, definitely we'll start with the website, which was the plan all along. But please make sure your sites are up to date.
That's really awkward, but yeah, fair enough. I
Where did you
suppose.
get that name? I was like, it was on your website.
Yeah, the person is no longer with us. Well, update your website, I suppose. um
Hmm.
and speaking of which, how important is social media? Because I know we've talked and I think I like the term that you used about having a good spread of sort of sites. You're talking about social media and talking about websites.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you call it?
Your your digital marketing footprint,
Ah, right.
right?
Okay.
So,
But yeah,
um, that you do need to have a presence because most companies likely already have a page out there. But is social media a driver of new leads? Maybe, kind of,
okay.
and it
Okay.
depends. My favorite marketing answer is it depends. But if you have, say you have a LinkedIn page for your company
Sure.
and no one is active on it, what does that what signal does that send? If I just wrote an article for the CSC network, which is all the independent uniform companies, about sales reps leveraging LinkedIn for new business. Because if you're active and you're making connections and talking about, I just met with this customer and this happened, I mean, that sends some signals of trust, activity, relevance, and compared to a company that doesn't, if you're looking at your selection, you do need to be there fairly consistently. And it's making sure you're in the right channel where your target audience is. Now, we work with the LED lighting, that's very big in LinkedIn. Another hydraulic fitting manufacturer, again, LinkedIn, right? They're looking to product engineers, OEMs, and things like that.
Hmm.
But they also have 3 or 4 facilities with hundreds of employees. So their
Okay.
Facebook strategy is more about the culture, the company, the innovations to help keep those employees connected, as well as what
Sure.
the company does. But
Hmm.
LinkedIn is a little different.
Hmm. Awesome.
So
Awesome.
you do have to have a presence, but I don't think
Yeah.
you need to be everywhere. for
Okay.
everyone. And content should adjust for the schedule or for the channel.
So are you sort of saying that some companies are would benefit more from more of a social media presence than others, depending on what they do? Without you telling me it depends.
Yeah, the channel, right? Where do
Yeah,
most of
yeah.
your buyers come from? Now,
Right.
we also helped with the branding logo development for a new pickleball and wiffle ball facility here in town that also has a bar and these fun leagues. Well, they're not super active on LinkedIn. They might be talking about some of their leagues and corporate events and fun outings there.
Yeah.
But on Facebook and Instagram, they're talking about pickleball leagues,
Mm,
openings, the restaurant, and things like that. So it's just,
right.
you got to put the right thing in the right place for the
Right.
audience that's there.
Right, right. And are these some of the things that you help your clients come up with when you're looking at marketing strategy as a whole?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna try and go back to one more AI related question before we wrap it up. So I'm gonna have a look on here and see if I can pick one for you. Okay, here's one. And I think I like this one because you kind of, it's almost like you looked in my notes. So I'm going to ask this one. So, study shows that formal AI training lags. Now, if you had all the money you needed, so if budget appeared tomorrow, what skill would you upskill? What would be your premier go to skill to uplift first if money wasn't an issue for you?
I would invest in looking how to build AI agents to, um, again, to make our work faster and better. So we partnered with another firm to build a content engine. So it uses AI components, but we feed it, and we're using it just for our stuff first. Um, but we're continuing to look at even the client reporting and the insights because AI can see things you don't, right? When you're looking at analytics and the
Of
data.
course.
So we're talking to companies about building our own, where we've tested probably 4 different reporting tools from Power My Analytics, Agency Analytics, even SEMrush, because their reporting is kind of wonky lately. So we're looking for those that have AI powered insights so we can build reports faster, but have better insights for the clients. I
Okay.
actually submitted for a grant to fund that development, to have someone come in
Okay.
and look at our operations and how can we improve it with AI, because it
Okay.
can make you more connected. um,
Sure.
like, well, we have our own tech stack from project management and time tracking and invoicing. I would love to have that all connected and speak to each other, but I haven't found
Mm,
one platform that can do it all well.
right.
um, Nor do I have the time to look at all of that.
Sure, awesome. And to wrap it up, I'll ask you, what is the one thing you would want your potential clients to know? What's the one thing you would say that I'd want potential clients to know about Red 66?
I want them to know that they'd get really transparent, honest answers from us.
Mm,
There's a lot of marketing hype. I think I probably get 7 to 10 emails a day from people who are AI agencies and white label experts and can get me, 40 leads a month, which that kind of freaks me out. Quite frankly, I don't know who wants that many leads in a month, unless AI is doing your proposals too. But, there's a lot of things you can do from marketing: website, social, email, CRMs, print ads, billboards, you name it, all these things, video. You got to start with a good hub to measure all that activity, and you can
sure.
always do more. But if someone's trying to come out of the gate and do absolutely everything, it
Mm,
it will take longer to see results because you're not intentional. And that's where we like to offer that advice and say, we're not going to do everything at once. We need to
sure.
develop a good plan and strategy. If someone says they can jump right in, update the website, and do Google ads, you got to pause and audit where things are and
Mm,
make sure it aligns with the business goals.
yeah,
So we want a seat at the table with the sales team, with the operations team, to look at where do you have the most capacity to grow. If it's,
right.
not pharmaceutical uniforms, because that has 100% wash through, right? That's at
Mm,
capacity. We could be more
yeah,
profitable if we added on this. Okay,
right,
we focus our efforts there. So it's
right,
got to be
right.
aligned with your business goals and where you make the most money and have the opportunity to.
That's really, really awesome. I'd love to keep on going, but obviously I don't want to take up all your time. Rebecca, has been so lovely having you on. And I suppose there's no reason why we can't invite you back again, because I know we've only just scraped the iceberg, tip of the iceberg of all the years of experience and insights that you've had. So I'd say to anyone, probably keep an eye out. I'll probably, if she agrees, of course, if she's not too busy, bring Rebecca back on for us so we can delve a bit more into some of the experiences had and sort of glean some highlights off the back of it. But it's been awesome having you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, keep doing your great stuff.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.